Have you ever heard the term read the room? Stop doing it immediately. In this video, I'm going to be telling you why reading the room is a really scary, stupid thing to be doing when you're just getting started speaking, and why you actually want to do something else that's going to help you feel like you're more in control. First of all, reading the room is a skill to do. It's just not a skill to do up front when you're just beginning your speaker journey, or maybe you just changed careers. Like you're at a high risk moment where you're like, this counts. And I don't have a lot of experience yet. When things really matter like that, your nervous system is reading that moment as a threat because you probably haven't done it enough yet to where your nervous system goes, oh, this is ordinary, which is where you need to get in your public speaking and your visibility journey, where your nervous system stops reading visibility as a threat. And the way you get there is by creating a system or pathway inside of your body, in your brain, your nervous system, that starts to predict or expect visibility all the time, which is what I teach you inside of the Voice Lab. Click below to get in on those things, and so that you can start speaking now in front of any room. So what people mean when they say read the room is don't lose people, right? Read the room, get a temperature check so that you can pivot, right? So the point of reading the room is so that you can pivot. And let's say you read the room and you can tell that the energy has dropped. Well, then you would turn up the music, or you would turn the slide, you would skip ahead in your presentation, or you would tell a funny story, or maybe you would just use your vocal mechanics a little differently and speak up a little bit, or you would have the skill set to do something once you read the room. But that's the problem. When we're just getting started speaking, you don't have to know all of those things. That's a more advanced skill thing, is being able to read a room, because once you read the room, you have to know what the heck to do with the information you just read. And your body is already feeling the heat of those lights on you. If you're on a traditional stage, you are already dealing with the wave of adrenaline that's coursing through your body as you're visible and all those eyes and ears are on you. That's what I call that wealthy moment, because visibility is a wealth, and your nervous system is dealing with all of that. And then on top of that, people want you to read the room and then do something about what you see. No, you don't need to do it in the beginning. It's an advanced thing. Now, there are a couple of key things you can be doing to make sure that in the absence of reading the room, that you're doing something else that's going to give you that advanced speaker advantage while you're a beginner. And that is, my friends, we don't want to read the room, but we want to feed the room, okay? We want to feed the room, which that means you have both hands on the driver wheel. You are in control of your talk. You know what to say, when to tell a story, what energy to be in the whole time you're in a talk, when to go to the stage left, when to go to stage right, when to lean in, when to step back, when to project your voice, and when to speak quietly. The main thing that you want to be doing when it comes to feeding the room is having a clear narrative and having a clear story that you tell. When you have a narrative or a journey in your talk, from the mud to the mountaintop, right? From hell to hell, yeah, I like to say. You're taking people on a journey when you speak. And this is true for giving presentations at work, making content online, podcast interviews, and answering the basic question of, how did you get started in doing what you do? That's the opportunity. That's the invitation to feed the room, take control of the narrative, and tell a really great story. The other thing when it comes to feeding the room is knowing your audience, right? We don't want to be telling a story about running your triple marathon that year to a bunch of geriatrics in the audience. Know your audience. Reading the room really means know your audience. And when you know your audience, you don't have to worry about monitoring or holding the audience's hand. You just deliver the appropriate content. So think about your audience. What do they need to know? What can I give them that will enhance their journey, that's valuable to them today? If they leave after hearing your talk, they implement what you gave them, their lives will be better. Where are you going to come up with that information? How are you going to learn about your audience? This is where you talk to the event owner, talk to the event strategist, get the demographics on that audience. Who's going to be sitting there? What's the age group? What's the SES? What's the, are these entrepreneurs? Are these teachers? Are these people in business or finance? Who is sitting there? By understanding who's in your audience, you're going to come prepared with the perfect stories. You're going to come prepared with the simplest and most perfect analogies. And you're going to be able to deliver a great talk, which removes the need to read the room. And instead, again, you're going to feed the room. Another thing that's really important when it comes to being visible is being authentic. I think people feel like when you get on a stage, if suddenly you read the room and the energy is dropped or people look bored, then it's our job to start spinning plates and entertain. And I am so anti-entertaining. Doesn't mean I don't get excited or show my range of emotion, but it's all within, this is Kimberly LaForte. And how you find her off stage is how you're going to find her on stage, is how you're going to find her when she's making content. You want to be the same too. You want to be consistent. We want to be congruent in your personality. We don't need to church it up just because you're getting on stage. That is the tendency when we believe in this read the room. Because if you're authentic, but all of a sudden you're looking at faces in the audience and they look a little bored and you're nervous because you pay thousands of dollars to get on that stage, or this is your first podcast. If you get in your head about that, as Tony Robbins says, if you're in your head, you're dead. You're dead, right? We cut ourselves off from the power of who we actually are. We start speaking with a different voice. We start frantically using hand gestures. We might over talk something to death because we're so caught up in people pleasing in that moment and proving our worth and making sure that we're giving everyone the entertainment that they need, because somewhere in our mind, we believe that if we don't make people laugh or smile or cry or have some big reaction, that we're not giving our due diligence up there on stage. But I'm going to tell you, the people that maintain their authentic selves on stage are the ones that will connect with the audience, because we love real people. We love real people. We love real stories. We love authenticity. We like every now and again a really churched up, empowered, like wow speaker. But I'm going to tell you what, that isn't sustainable. I used to be like that. I used to be really hype on stage. And now I speak all the time. I've got my own tour. I make content all the time. I speak at other people's stages. Like, it's tiring. I don't have the energy to church it up anymore. But also, it works against me. Instead, I want to be really neutral. And now, it takes the forcefulness of making sure that the people pleasing is happening, making sure that my audience absolutely loves me and what I'm saying. It takes that pressure off. And instead, the only thing I really got to focus on is if I'm being authentic. You stop equating or tethering your success of your talk based on the audience's applause or the reaction or the look in their eyes or the head nods, because there are going to be a lot of experiences that you don't get that feedback. I had a one-on-one client once, and she was a really great speaker. And she was in an all male dominated career path. And she says, sometimes when I'm in front of the audience in real life, and they don't nod, they don't talk back, it's really, really dysregulating. And then even worse, when she does her Zoom calls to hundreds and hundreds of people on this call, they all have their video off. So she's like, that's like a double thing, because I can't even see anyone's faces to even see that they're not giving me a reaction. So we had to really work on untethering from this external validation that people's facial reactions really matter. They don't. Most of the time, people are going to be in their heads thinking about their lives. They're in their heads thinking about how they're hungry or they got to go pee. It has nothing to do with you. And so when you're getting started, the last thing I want you to do is start to read the room, because there's so much information there and so much nuances coming off of that audience that it's going to freak you out. And you already got enough to deal with up on that stage. So instead of reading the room, when you're beginning your visibility journey, I want you to feed that room. I want you to focus on giving great content. I want you to focus on great storytelling. I want you to be authentic and have the time of your life. Make sure that you're having fun in those moments. Make sure you're speaking about what you've lived through. Don't try to meander off of that. Really own that this is your life. These are the things you've been through. And focus on giving an authentic voice, an authentic experience, and working on your nervous system and its reaction to visibility before a moment of being on stage is also going to help you feel really calm and collected out there so you don't accidentally slip into reading that room and then trying to do something about it, guys. Okay. If you really need some help with visibility, if it feels like it's really scary for you, and you also are like, I'm an expert though, I really know my shit. I just don't know what's happening. I don't like the voice that comes out of my mouth. It doesn't sound like the one that's in my head, or I really choke sometimes when people are staring at me. Like I forget what to say and what's going on there. And you want to get over that, then click on the link below. I have an incredible proven program coming up that's just 4 weeks long, starting in April, called the Voice Lab. I ran this a couple years ago. It was my best-selling offer. People loved it because it's fast, it's efficient, it actually works. And there's micro solutions that you're going to get to experience every single week that moves you toward being someone who's like, you know what? I can use my voice now. That's the promise in the Voice Lab. You're going to walk away going, I can use my voice. And it doesn't sound like the person in the past. And it doesn't sound like someone else that I'm trying to imitate. It sounds like me. And when you figure out how to speak like you, really you stop worrying about everyone else's judgment. And you start living your life according to your values and your standards. And that is so magnetic. People love that stuff. And that's when we start to find opportunities and clients. And when we start to find friendships, that's when we start to stand up for ourselves and take ownership of our life, create our life even through our voice. So this is for entrepreneurs. The Voice Lab is for leaders. Voice Lab is for any woman who just wants to start to own this next chapter of her life and start to align her voice with the power of who she really is. Click the link below and I'll see you inside Voice Lab. And if this video was helpful to you, let me know in the comments if you would like to see more content like this. I appreciate you guys. See you in the next video.